we are today at a pit race. Um,
Pittsburgh International Race Complex.
okay, thank you. Scott's already correcting me. Today's guest is Scott Dolfi. Uh, Scott, the reason I wanted to have you here today is I wanted to talk about a real professional athlete, which was yourself. And I wanted to go through the journey with you. You're a Pittsburgh boy, you're a Pittsburgh kid, uh, local. I'd like other kids to know what does it take to become a professional athlete and life after being a professional athlete.
I guess it'd be a life professional athlete to a professional businessman would probably be the best way to put it.
That's the way we're doing it then.
Yeah. So,
That's the way we're going.
and as you
So
stated earlier, not everybody can be Tom Brady.
not every yes, we hopefully you weren't you understood that comment.
I did.
What I was saying to Scott was I was excited to have him because he's a real person. And Tom Brady's not a real person. Yes, Tom, you're a real person. Not that Tom's listening to this, but Tom doesn't have the daily woes of making payments and worrying about paying bills. And unfortunately, that is such a small percentage. And I think a lot of kids and people think that is just a professional athlete. And it's not. It's
No,
not.
no, it's a very, very small percentage of the people that don't have to do something after they get done playing professional sport.
So tell us, where did you grow up? When did the when did you just know you love sports, or how did this all begin?
Yeah, grew up in Bethel Park, uh, middle child of three, very sports oriented family. Uh, my father played college football and a little bit of pro with Green Bay in camp and blew a knee out. My uncle played for the University of Florida and was a punter there and was with the Jets for a little bit of time. My brother, unfortunately, quit playing football in junior year and concentrated on throwing the javelin and was very successful in the track and field. And my sister was actually a shot putter.
Wow,
So
all of you.
so yeah, we all had fun growing up in Bethel. We never were inside. We were outside until the lights came on, ate dinner, and then we were back out playing wiffle ball or football or icing down the backyard to play hockey. It was one of those where we just kept doing something. We It wasn't the days of video games and TV and I think we had Atari at the time, so it was in the backyard all season, something going on down on the street playing wiffle ball, in the backyard playing football, and it wasn't touch football in the backyard; it was tackle football, and yeah, so that's kind of where it started, and then it progressed into youth sports, and again basketball, football. I was a several sport athlete growing up: football, baseball, track. Hockey I played a little bit of.
Really?
Yeah, even wrestled a little bit when they needed somebody. And again, I wasn't this big coming out of high school. I was 190 pounds, so played quarterback. But progressing up through youth sports was probably the biggest. And growing up in the 70s with the Steelers, the Pirates, and the teams that I liked really, motivated me to want to play professional football.
So, coming up through youth sports, did you put the sole pressure on you, or I mean, geez, with your father being a professional athlete too, he probably was he easy?
No. So yeah, and you'll hear this a lot. It's funny because of the background and the business world that I've been in too. I get to reflect. I don't have kids, so I get to see, and I've gotten to see um, how parents push kids nowadays compared to back in the day. Back in the day, it was I called my dad the silent assassin. So he was my coach all through Pee Wee football. Very, very, very hard on me, and I don't regret a thing
Okay.
because it made me a better athlete.
So this isn't some sob story. My dad
No,
was tough
no,
on me.
no, no. Yeah, if he wouldn't have been tough on me, I wouldn't be where I am now. His work ethic, my mom's work ethic, that was instilled in us, was never to take advantage of the opportunity we have and make the best of it.
Hmm.
And so, growing up, it was youth football, then in the middle school, athletics, and my dad stopped then. And every coach I had from there was my dad would have a quick briefing with him and say, "Hey, treat him like he's your son." And
Okay.
my dad would walk away, and that would be it. My my folks, kind of condensing this a little bit, would my dad would never sit on the home side. He would always sit on the visitor side to hear that side of it. My mom kind of stayed in the background and kept positive, where my dad was just influential on always being better than I was the week before.
Bad car rides home.
Some bad car rides home. Some bad car rides home. Not major. Yeah, there were some tear sheds and stuff like that. However, my dad saw in me the potential, and what I've learned in life is there's nothing worse than wasted potential. So and wasted ability. So there were some hard times. There were some great times, uh, and that gave me an opportunity to be where I'm at today, being a leader in the business world.
So let's back up. Let's talk about even high school, and we're going to talk about primarily. Let's talk about two sports that I have a little bit of a clue about.
You
Um,
have no clue about football, so say basketball, right? Or tennis. You want to talk tennis?
no, I don't
We
want
can
to talk
talk
tennis.
tennis.
No,
Green balls they bounce. A lot of fun.
now. Um, I know I can beat you at that sport though. But anyway, football. What position did you play in high school?
So yeah, growing up through middle school, through Pop Warner, we'll call it, through middle school, through high school, I was a quarterback. I was groomed by my father to be a quarterback, and that's what I was. I never tackled anybody. That was it. I was a quarterback, and getting up into high school, as a freshman, I was in the varsity team. As a sophomore, I started several games. As a junior, I started, um, played both ways, and was the punter and kicker. And again, in those days, you put your athletes in the best position, and I'd probably say I'm more of an athlete. That made me better than a lot of kids because I was an athlete.
Okay.
So it just wasn't a one sport thing. I mean, I've been to high schools the last 10 years where I've walked into a gym and the football team was practicing and the baseball team was over there and a ball rolled over and a kid on the football side looked totally ridiculous throwing a baseball back to somebody on the baseball side.
Sure.
And that's been the focus of one sport. And so, yeah, so I was a quarterback and I was okay.
So tell me about basketball.
Basketball, I enjoyed probably more
Mhm.
than football because I was able just to have fun at basketball. Um, Played up through high school, the Ozanam City League. Uh, Played every year in that since eighth grade. Attended camps. All your
Possession. What were you playing?
forward and center, depending on who was on the team at the time. But I was pretty decent in basketball. Had a couple Division One offers to play basketball. Wake Forest, Georgia Tech, a couple other places. Old now, so I can't remember. But yeah, but it was fun for me. I think that's why uh, I was able to enjoy it more. It's not that I didn't enjoy football,
No.
but I was able to enjoy it more and not worry about the backlash of not having a good game or
Well, I was going to say, did your father have much input with basketball?
sure he had input with all the sports I played.
Okay.
However, uh, those were the sports that polished me to be a better athlete football player.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me now, we're at the end of high school. You've got to make a decision. What do you want to do? What are you thinking? Because obviously you're 18 and you probably thought the path that you were going to go on is much different than what ended up happening.
So yeah, the path that I planned on going on was I committed to Pitt, uh, and at that time, Pitt was having an issue with the coach. I took all my visits, University of Florida, every visit I could take. Probably I had 90 to 100 Division One offers. and
All at quarterback?
all at, well, at quarterback and as an athlete.
Okay. Okay.
So
So you were open-minded, possibly.
I was open-minded, but majority of I was going to Pitt to be a quarterback
Okay.
and play quarterback. Unfortunately, Godfrey got fired 89, and the coach coming in at the time didn't tender any of the Western Pennsylvania verbal commitments. Fortunately, at the time, Eastern Michigan, the coach there had recruited me since I was in seventh grade.
Okay.
Uh, and he knew what was going on, and they still had a full ride. I ended up going to Eastern Michigan, but you ask about being an athlete. Um, my other visit, well, a couple of my other visits was Penn State University. So Coach Paterno at the time had really recruited me heavily, and his whole spiel to me right before signing day was that he wants to make me a linebacker. And I said, Coach, I said, I've never tackled anybody in my life. I said, unfortunately, I want to be a quarterback, and I'm going to go to the University of Pitt. Well, that got totally blown out of line in the headlines back 20, 30 years ago. It was Dolfi tells Erno no is like telling God to go to hell. So this was made up by the Post Gazette, and it kind of rippled through Western PA for a little bit. But then again, Joe had a great year. He got some really good guys from Western PA, and as it ended up being me getting to Eastern Michigan, there's a backstory that we'll talk about when we get to my playing days at Eastern Michigan.
Okay. Okay. So you make the decision, you're playing football, you go to Eastern Michigan. What is that like? I mean, where do you think you're going from there? I mean, honestly, you're an 18-year-old kid.
So
What do you really think's going on?
yeah, getting to Eastern Michigan, I liked the campus. I liked the MAC conference. I knew a little bit about the MAC conference. Back then, they weren't getting the media coverage on ESPN or stuff like that they do now. But my whole intent was to get to college, play college, and somebody's going to notice me. That was my.
Notice you had on your mind, I'm going
I'm
professional.
still
Okay.
still going to play professional football. I had it in my mindset. I visualized it. I talked about it. I thought about it. I practiced doing my autograph. Um, yeah, my goal was to honestly, to go to college to play football, not to go to college and get a degree.
Hmm.
Um, so that was my intent. College was a stepping stone for me to get to professional football.
So you show up at Eastern Michigan, and you're going to be this quarterback.
Show up at Eastern
What
Michigan as
happened?
a redshirt freshman. I'm fifth on the depth chart. I was always told by my father, never stand around. Don't let them see you standing around. Always do something. So during spring ball, um, scout team was running and they needed somebody to fill in at defensive end, and coach was yelling. So I ran over there and jumped in. Um, again, uh, something that Coach Paterno saw in me was something that Coach Yock saw in me. So I went from having a great spring practice, I thought, as bumping into the four string quarterback as a redshirt, to getting called into the coach's office going, Scott, you're not going to be an NFL quarterback. And my bubble was deflated instantly. And I cried and asked him, what do you mean? He said, Scott, with your athletic ability and your size, you're going to be a great defensive end. And I said, Coach, I never tackled anybody in my life, and I really don't know what a weight room is. And he said, well, the weight room's two doors down on the right. I expect to see your ass in there every day. And one thing led to another. And I said, Coach, I said, I could have went to Penn State. He goes, well, what do you mean? I said, Coach Paterno said he was going to make me a linebacker.
I never thought about that.
So
So
here I
are
am.
you thinking it's a step backward?
I didn't think it was a step backward. It was a a pause of figuring out my next direction of,
Yeah.
do I have the ability, size, which I didn't at the time. Came out of high school at 6'5", 195 pounds. Um, so that was my worry was, well, I'm light. So
Was what to you, did you have the identity of just a quarterback, and was this learning that you're who you thought you were was different, or is it not that deep?
so yeah, no, my identity as a quarterback, we all have heroes and we all have people that we emulate or look up to. And my emulation or the person that I looked up to in the NFL at the time was Jim McMahon.
Okay.
I mean, if there is ever a linebacker that was a quarterback,
It truly was, yeah.
there it is. So
Didn't he have that hit list once
he
on
had
his
the
I
yeah,
think I
yeah, he
remember
had the
seeing
hit list. I mean,
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
your linebacker slash he's a quarterback.
yeah.
And luckily I had that. And some other people that I enjoyed watching playing was your Steve Edmonds and your Bosworths and players like that that kind of encompassed the whole persona of basically what I became.
Okay.
You know, spent 3 years at Eastern Michigan, and we went through 4 coaches in 3 years. And finally, my father made a decision that what was best for me to be seen is to transfer to a Division II school. At that time, we didn't have the transfer portal. We didn't have the deals, the NLI deals, and all that. You guys are lucky. Uh, but I transferred out to a small Division II school in Nebraska, where in the last 5 years previously me getting there, they had 10 people go to the NFL.
I gotcha.
So they had
The dad's no dummy.
yeah, Dad's no dummy. He's behind the scenes
Yeah,
figuring it out.
yeah.
Um, Shadron, Don Beebe played there. Ray and Guy Earl played there. Danny Woodhead.
Really? Okay.
So these are names that well, Danny was after me, but the line of NFL prospects that they were shooting out just in the 5 years prior was more than actually Pitt was shooting out.
Okay.
So yeah, so it was a hotbed for transfer names. So I ended up out in Nebraska for my 2 years there. Had a blast.
Was it fun?
It was fun. I was a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
I set the Division II record for sacks. Um, just had a blast. Had a blast. Got to see a whole different world out there, and it was an opportunity for me actually again to grow, to go. Okay, let's be humble a little bit. Let's take a step back here and understand that it isn't always about me, and it's about team. And that's really where the team mindset got put into me, was going to Division II school. Everybody isn't as fortunate as maybe I was, where I came from, how I was
Hmm.
brought up,
Yeah.
so yeah, so got me out there.
So, do you think not taking those blows in high school helped your body, or I mean, I guess somebody getting tackled constantly all through high school, you didn't take too as many blows as some of these other guys.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I played quarterback like a linebacker,
Yes.
so I wasn't afraid to run over somebody or
Okay.
into somebody.
Okay.
However, um, going from what I did to where I was, quarterback to defensive end, was big change on my body. Uh, I had the speed of a receiver, 4.5, 4.6, 40
Okay.
at 225 pounds. Um, and it's not a bragging thing, but I was your TJ or JJ Watt before TJ and JJ Watt. I mean, it was basically I was a predominant left side pass rushing defensive.
So when you played quarterback, you were not afraid to get hit.
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no.
All right. So that mindset,
Yeah,
okay, that does help. That makes sense. That
yeah.
makes sense.
And then when I figured out that I could hit people and hit quarterbacks, it turned a light on, and it was a lot better.
You enjoyed
I
that.
enjoyed it.
Um, so your last year was successful in college. What happened from there?
In college, you got to go to class. You got to maintain a certain grade point average. You got to maintain certain credits. So this is where the business world ties in. I did manage to get to some classes. I did manage to understand and study business, a minor in art. Uh, it prepared me for the next level. So going to the next level
So you did go to class then?
on occasion.
Yes. Okay.
I cannot confirm nor deny that.
So the some things did rub off on you in
Something did, yeah,
scholastically.
something did rub off on me, and yeah, so I must be doing something right on occasion.
Okay. Okay. So it's ending. The NFL, professional sports is still looking possible, correct?
So yeah, so I knew coming after my last game, I had several NFL teams in touch with me. Uh, I had several visits. I did not get invited to the combine. I was an undrafted free agent, but I had several teams interested in me on a grander scale. So uh, then the opportunity came uh, after the end of the season, and it was looking like I said, I wasn't going to be drafted. So I was upset, but wasn't upset. And I had an offer come immediately from several CFL teams,
Okay.
and I weighed out the options of what I've learned and what we learned from the NFL teams going to visit them and talking. I was still light, 265 pounds. I could bench 225 15 times maybe. I was fast, but I was still light, light in the ass, we'll call it. They would say.
Okay.
And I was a tweener. I was not so much a defensive end, but not so much a little bit too big for a linebacker.
Yeah, yeah.
So decided to go to take the direction of going to the CFL first. Signed a deal with Saskatchewan Roughriders, and then got traded along with Doug Flutie and a couple Darren and a couple other guys to BC, and then my CFL career began.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And
It was very successful up there. I spent time with three different teams, three different Grey Cups in three different cities. And in between the seasons, in between my first and second CFL stint, I ended up signing with the New Orleans Saints. It's 96 or 97. It all runs together, but the Saints. So my dream was coming true to play in the NFL, and spent time there, camp, practice roster, a game. I got some game time action, and then I wanted to keep playing. It was one of those where I wanted to play. I didn't want to sit. So
mhm,
my agent got me back up. Signed with another CFL team again. Went up the Grey Cup again. Came back down and signed with another NFL team. And, it's interesting when people think about the NFL. And the NFL is a business. The
definitely.
NFL is also who you know. And frustration took over with some teams in the NFL that somebody playing in front of me, either that position coach coached them in college or they were high. It's one of those networking and knowing somebody really in the NFL. People nowadays playing for 20 years, and it's ridiculous. Again, the way the rules and things have changed, that's able to accommodate some people, I think. But going back to my situation back in the days when I played, it was a lot about who you knew instead of the best talent, say, out
So, and this is such a like a petty question, but what kind of lifestyle did you have playing in the CFL? And you know where I'm getting with
there.
this.
Yeah, no, no.
Like, were you a little celebrity there to a certain degree? Did you have money there? Were you having were you living out that I
I
don't want to say
was. No, I
raucous?
was. It was. It was a
Okay,
rock star lifestyle. I'm not gonna. I'm not. I'm not gonna bullshit. Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bullshit you. I mean, there were hookers, there were bars. I spent money as quick as I got it. I enjoyed the cars. I mean, up in the CFL, yeah, I was, especially when you're winning Grey Cups and you're associated with a certain group of people. You're doing TV commercials. You know, the CFL isn't what people think it is. Up there, if you're an American and you're playing in the CFL, you're Taylor Swift.
Okay.
You're
That's what I kind of
yeah,
figured.
you're something special up there,
Yeah.
and you get treated really well. Uh, you get to have your pay is a little bit different than a gentleman from a player from Canada. Um, you get you get paid a nice living
Yeah.
up there,
Yeah.
so you're able to enjoy some of the finer things in life.
Well, so you rub elbows
Yeah,
with a lot of interesting people, probably even outside of football.
100%, 100%. Some of the people that would come up, we had Kevin Costner that would attend games, and we would go out to dinner with him after. There were bands and groups that would come in that were playing maybe in the stadium the next night that would invite you to hang out. And yeah, it's just a we'll call it a cornucopia of people across the spectrum from business owners to celebrities to movie stars. Up north. I mean, you think of like Pamela Anderson.
Right.
She
Yeah.
was at BC Lions games all the time.
Right.
So yeah, it was a probably a small planet compared to the big planet of the NFL of people that you would hang out with and do the fun things with and waste money on.
So was it you had to see other players probably losing their way, if you know what I mean, getting caught up in being a celebrity in even in these smaller markets.
Sure.
What did you ever get that close, or were you able
No,
always
no, I
to?
was able. I kept it enough to have fun, but not too much to be an asshole
Okay,
and lose what I had worked
so you still knew that this was
a
this
business. This
this was
this
a business,
this is
this was an
work. Yeah,
opportunity, take advantage
yeah,
of it.
yeah. The lifespan of a professional athlete, I think nowadays is 3.5 years.
Right.
And to bounce between the NFL, the CFL, and the Arena League, I got to spend 10 years bouncing around being a little boy a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
you got your, and we're going to get to the end of this with
yeah,
your passion for cars, but
sure.
it sounds like you always had a passion for cars.
Always had a passion for cars.
All right.
Growing up, yeah, yeah.
I've heard you had some really cool cars
I've
back
had
in
some
the day.
fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you got hurt.
got hurt.
Tell us what happened getting
So,
hurt.
playing in a preseason game, uh, unfortunately, I was on the wrong end of a block. Uh, tore my iliopsoas muscle, injured my hip, kind of like what Bo Jackson did, and that ended my career.
And
They call it getting on with life's work after that.
yeah, but I'm sure it wasn't that easy. I mean,
No, it wasn't. I took a year of rehab and came back and played arena football for a year because I wanted to end it in my way on my own terms
yes.
instead of going off in a stretcher. So I was able to come back and again, we talk about knowing people, and I knew a coach that was coaching a team. He gave me an opportunity to end my career, um, and it was interesting being the age I was and playing with the kids that I was playing with at the time. And
What age were you?
gosh, I was 30 something at the time,
Okay.
32,
All right.
31, 32, and playing arena football with kids right out of college. Didn't have the opportunity to play in the NFL or CFL, and you see their eye. To them, it's big time for them, which is great, which is good. Um, but it was neat to see those kids and watch them develop. And some of the people I played with that are still good friends, Mike Vanderjack. We all know Mike. He was a kicker for the Colts for the longest time.
Mhm.
Mike and I played up CFL together and then arena together, and Jay Feely, another kicker, and the list goes on of friends that got to play a little bit longer than me and got to win some big stuff in the NFL. Yeah, it was time to get on with life's work.
You paint though such an easy picture of it though. I mean, I can only imagine things being taken from you and it wasn't even your choice.
So from middle school to high school, I never saw a vacation.
Okay.
From middle school to high school, I, I spent summers at camps, be it basketball or football camps, where my siblings and mom would go on vacation and dad was home with me. Again, my dad saw something in me. And again, I appreciate it. And he's made me who I am. But it was 365 days a year. I didn't have much of, especially when I got in high school, a social life. It was football, it was basketball, it was track, it was something baseball. So I covered all of those. And I wanted to make sure that I did at the highest level. And doing it at the highest level didn't mean I went to the
Sacrifice.
mall Friday night or Saturday
You
night. I
sacrifice.
sacrificed, yeah. And it was something that I had to make the sacrifice for, not that my folks made me sacrifice. It's something that I had to commit and sacrifice and understand it was for me, and my guidance from my parents was secondary.
Okay. Well, I met you. Let's talk about how I met you.
Oh Lord.
So I met you through this amazing hobby. I don't know. Some people, I guess, try to take more from it and want more out of it, but it's auto racing.
Yeah.
And I have to laugh because you are, how tall are you?
6'5",
Six five.
300 pounds.
6'5". So I was at this race shop, which a friend of ours
Yeah.
owns, the race place. Uh,
Shout out, Brett.
Brett, hey Brett, how are you? Um, I saw this little Formula car, and I just said, "Whose car is this?" And I'm looking at it, and I'm 5'8" on a good day, and Formula car fits a guy my size,
Sure.
and I saw Brett trying to cut things, bend things, trying to fit you in this stupid car.
I showed up at Brett's with this card and said, "Make me fit," and walked away.
And he did.
He did.
He did, but then you wised up, and then I guess later on, fast forward, you found yourself in a NASCAR,
Yeah. I mean, I always loved cars growing up.
but not a NASCAR going around in a circle. I don't want
No,
to say
no.
that. We turn left
Yeah,
and turn
left
right.
and right and
Yes,
go fast, very straight.
yes.
I don't have the mental stamina to turn left all the time. I need something to challenge myself. So yeah, so fast forward Formula car, pre all that, having all the fun with the money I was able to make, the cars that I had growing up, till I got out of sports and then into the business world. And yeah, so racing became somewhat of a hobby that now has turned into almost a job, second job now. I mean, it's interesting where this has gone. So
No, it really has.
yeah,
For you anyway. I just lose money doing it, but you find some
no,
way to not lose money
no,
doing
I
it.
lose money. I mean, I lose money, but for some reason, sometimes I end up making money.
Yes.
So yeah, my progression has been into the business world after sports. I've been fairly successful in the business world, and it's a lot to do with what I learned playing in the NFL and playing the CNFL and playing the Arena League. It's a business,
Hmm.
and one of my mantras, well, two of them that I've always used moving forward throughout my life is to be successful, surround yourself with successful people, and do the little things right, and the big things take care of themselves. So I've applied that into the business world, and my business world, I would like to think I've been successful at it. It's given me the opportunity um, to now enjoy my hobby, you know, doing what I'm doing now. I mean, I've progressed from VP positions to CEO positions to COO positions. I think I like to say that I have a knack of running businesses and seeing what um, successful people do and putting successful people in the right position to succeed. So it's given me an opportunity now to take it to the next level of enjoying my hobby, but also including my business life.
Well, I know you told me a story that was interesting. How, I mean, a company that I know were at, it was a titanium
Yeah,
company, and I remember you telling me how you met the individual was on a race weekend,
yeah,
and I'm sure he was probably fascinated because you were an ex-athlete,
yes.
professional athlete, and it started to talk. But tell me briefly, tell me that conversation, how the heck you end up helping him in his business.
Yeah. I mean, there's before that, I worked running companies, running businesses, and I'd like to think that I was successful. A COVID hit, the industry that I was in basically shut down. That was the indoor sports world. And I started racing more, and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to retire right now and just race and have some fun and do some business consulting. So several years, 3 or 4 years ago at Mid Ohio, I was with a good friend of mine that introduced me to the owner of this titanium company, and we talked business. We didn't talk race cars. We talked, success in business and what it took, and we had a 2, 3 hour conversation just sitting there and talking business. And several months later, he approached me about running his business. And the interesting thing was the business was located in San Diego. So I said, this is going to be interesting because I'm not moving to San Diego. And he said, no, my expectations would be that you would fly out, spend a couple, 7 to 10 days, and then work from home. And so yeah, I knew nothing about titanium.
Hmm.
I knew it was used in racing. The company provided titanium to Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, the aerospace industry, and the medical field. And again, knew nothing about titanium. I knew it was light. I knew you used it in certain stuff, but I knew how to take a business, and his objective was going from a 10 million, $12 million company. I knew how to do that. So, so that took place. The last couple of years, I was
And that was just on a race
on a
weekend,
race
just
weekend.
shooting the shit with
Yeah,
some guy
yeah, yeah,
in the pits. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, we really get to meet some really interesting people.
yeah. The race world is especially the hobby. We'll call it the hobbyist race world.
Right.
Is full of your middle to high class income. Everything from sales rep to an owner of a Fortune 500 company. I mean, I've got to know Scott Borchetta. Scott is the owner of uh, Spiked Vodka, Big Machine Records, and Big Machine Records naturally is Taylor Swift.
Right.
So, that's just one of many.
What does he race?
So Scott races Trans Am.
Okay.
He'll also race vintage SVRA. He'll run a '68 Corvette Camaro, and then he'll run a TA2 car in our group just to have fun with us, get more experience. But the people that I've gotten to meet on the business side, the racing side, uh, has been pretty fascinating.
So this you've gone through many NASCARs. You're into a NASCAR truck. That who built this truck? Tell tell us who one of your buddies are. That,
Sure, here we go name dropping
yeah, we're
again. You
name
just want to
dropping.
pull it
Go
out of
ahead.
me, huh? So Joe Nemechek has become a really good friend of mine. Met him about 6 years ago. Uh, took a we'll call we he calls it like it is, a shit box to him. And he turned it into a pretty interesting and nice performing NASCAR. I'm on my seventh NASCAR, sixth NASCAR, first truck.
I've been racing a lot longer than you, and I've never had a pro team like that build me a car. I'm jealous. What
Jelly.
I'm
So it's
obviously,
awesome.
I know what you're doing something right. Definitely. That's what
Again,
you need.
I think going to help me achieve that. So Joe's made me a better driver. My friends have made me a better driver. cars now that I'm driving are better cars,
Mm-hmm.
performing a lot better. And then, you sit there and you do your comparison when you're at a track going, all right, these guys are running X at Mid Ohio. In my car, I know I'm actually in the top 7 or 10.
Right.
So why can't I run? And that's looking at an Xfinity or a truck race. So why can't I run an ARCA? So really, the next thing is to find some funding and uh, people, and I have the people lined up. You know, uh, now it's finding the money
The
to,
dollars.
yeah, the dollars to go to race an ARCA.
Well, I like the way you've done it because I know um, people accomplish racing a different way. Some people are, I'm going to see how fast I can go. And if I hit things, I hit some things, and I'm going to just keep on going faster. You have not approached that way. We know people that rip things apart very easily, tear cars up. But
Pritchard, if you're watching, Pritchard,
I didn't say that.
yeah,
I didn't say
Pritchard.
that. He's not afraid. You got to give him that.
No, McGilla the Gorilla, we call him.
Yeah,
He'll break it and rebuild it and go faster.
but you're sensible about it. You just you keep tiptoeing, tiptoeing and getting there. And now all of a sudden, to me, you're fast now. You're fast now. In the
Yeah,
beginning, I think it was about you getting comfortable.
sure.
And that some people don't accept that as an answer. I know.
Right, right. No, and it was one of those where we went to Mid Ohio 3 years ago to get my license, and Joe's biggest thing that he stressed was, doesn't matter how fast you go right now. Don't be that guy that hits somebody or goes off the track. And
But wait, doesn't Joe still destroy cars on
oh
practice?
God. I mean, but then again, when you own a race shop and you have the ability
Right.
to do that,
Right.
it'd be like me going out and playing flag football with
Mhm.
somebody right now.
Right.
You know, but again, I look at it also as a fantasy league. I'm out racing with Joe Nemechek, and he's touching my car and working on my car, and we're sitting in the hauler, busting balls and having fun and
Yeah.
dinner and going on vacation. And I'm racing with Bill Elliott, and these are just a few of the guys that are running with us. And then you get these young kids
Hmm.
that from the Xfinity series that will come run in our group just to get track experience because they're going to be running uh, an Xfinity race there in a
Hmm.
month or so. So it's literally like a fantasy camp for me
That's awesome.
because I watched all these guys, and I'm sitting there shooting the shit with Bill Elliott and talking with Joe and and talking with other individuals throughout NASCAR. Just like you sit there and go, I mean, Doug Bowles, the president of Indianapolis Speedway, has become a good friend of mine, and it's just amazing that 10 years ago would I've ever thought that I would be here where I am. So the whole racing thing really is ingrained in me now, and I'll be honest, I'm having more fun doing this than I was playing football.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. I mean, the
Well,
memories are interesting. You always make newer memories that supersede the old memories, and those memories from the '90s and early 2000s begin to fade with age. Um, but this is what's going on in my life now, and now I've been able to take my hobby and actually turn it into working in the industry now.
yeah, we're going to talk about that in 1 second. The reason I like racing,
Because I can't see how tall you are
no, I'm the
and
right
how much
size.
of a dick you
I'm the right size for
are.
racing. The reason I like it is, let's just admit it. Like, there's a lot of piece of works that race. I mean,
Oh
you've got
God.
the weirdest, funniest, most. I mean, you can't even wrap your head around the way some of these people live, think, and do things. I mean, it's hilarious. The strong personalities, uh,
It's
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 amazing.
it's a drug. I'll be honest.
Yes, yes.
It's a drug because you step into the shallow end of the pool, and then you see everybody in the deep end having a lot of fun, and then you're like, huh, let me wait halfway out, and you wait halfway out, and you're like, God damn, this is a lot of fun, and then you start spending more money, and then you really don't think about the money anymore because of what you're doing, where you're at and the people you're around.
Right.
It's basically, I call it a 5-star vacation once or twice a month. And the money that you drop to do this, you can take your family
Don't say these things.
away,
Please don't say
away.
that.
And I'm fortunate. I've got a recently remarried. I got a great wife.
We do.
Yeah,
Supportive
yeah,
wives
yeah,
who
hundred
allow us to
percent.
do this.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So that's the other thing, and supportive friends,
Yes.
and also the people that I've worked for have supported me. I mean, the titanium company gave me the opportunity to race whenever I needed to race. Um, the company I'm at now, Pittsburgh International Racetrack, uh, they've given me, Kathy and Jim has given me the opportunity to race. So very fortunate, very blessed.
Let's talk about this place.
Yeah,
This place, which I know you're going to hate that I say this,
no,
but the original, I knew this place as Beaver Run
yeah,
originally.
yeah.
And let me tell you, if anybody thinks that this place is still Beaver Run, it's not Beaver Run anymore. This place is incredible now.
No, I've been fortunate enough to race at many racetracks from Coda to Daytona to Sebring, Road Atlanta, just like you, S- Skip Bar, all these places, and it's interesting. This is in our backyard. To me, and I've shared this with ownership. This is a hidden gem.
It is.
I mean, first of all, you pull onto the complex, and it's like a country club, manicured. Everything is precise. Everything matches. Everything looks great. And these are the expectations of the owners to continue. So we're very fortunate, us as living here in Pittsburgh, to have this hidden gem right now in our backyard called our home track.
So tell us about at least two or three events this year that if you are not involved in racing, you want to come and see racing, you want to walk around cars, get to touch drivers, mechanics, and whatnot.
Yeah,
What are some things to come to this season here?
yeah, no, definitely, definitely. Pit race, just coming up to pit race on any given day. I mean, you can go jump on the go-kart tracks. I mean, it's a premier go-kart track.
It is.
The facility is a premier facility. You get to see a lot of interesting stuff. You'll see the Porsche Club from Sewickley here. You'll see the Viper Club that Jim runs in. You're going to see this year SVRA and Trans Am. Trans Am's coming, and we just had a meeting about this the other day of the list of drivers that are coming here that I can pull up and give you an idea
With the SBR.
with SVRA and Trans
Okay.
Am. I mean, it's amazing. Uh, Let me
I think that
find this
this
here.
is probably going to be one of our biggest races here.
I apologize for not being prepared for this, but
Well, I was 15 minutes late and I got hell
well,
from
yeah.
somebody from that.
Again, Gio Lombardi time. Let me find this here. Cut to a commercial or an advertising while I look.
No, this is riveting for people to watch you scroll through.
Yeah,
You know,
and I probably won't even find it because I've sent out so many emails in the last several days. Uh, we got the lemons coming here,
okay.
and I'm new to that kind of. I've seen it run before, but that's going to be interesting. If you want to see a lot of fun, a lot of chaos, a lot of debauchery, this is absolutely the opposite from what we do.
It is.
So
It is. I've never participated in a lemons race. Uh, I know people have a lot of fun. Lemons races are basically the concept was a $500 car, and you race anywhere from 8 to 24 hours, and people put odd looking things on their cars and their cars break and they put a lot of people on the track at one time. I know it's like a little bit of a circus, but guys do take it very serious. They
100%, 100%.
I mean, people want to win.
Yeah, and again, it's you don't have to have a competition license.
No.
It's basically the camaraderie and the fun
Yeah.
of it. So I was able to pull up my list here. So I'll go through the list of people that are going to be potentially here. I know there's some positive commitments already, and again, it's not through us because we're renting the facility to SVRA
Right.
and,
Right.
and Trans Am. But I mean, here's a list of drivers that are running in the series. You got Paul Menard, Adam Andretti, Kaz Grala. You've got Justin Marks. I mean, Justin's Trackhouse Racing and a team owner in NASCAR, and he races Trans Am. You got Boris said there exactly. Boris is your road course ringer. I mean, um, Taylor Gray, Corey Heim, Thad Moffat. Thad is the grandson of Richard Petty.
Wow.
Connor Mozak, Connor Zilich. Connor Zilich just won the Sebring 12 hours in his group. Uh, Francis Jr. Other pro drivers running in the SVRA side of it, the vintage side. And naturally, you have Joe Nemechek, Mike Skinner, Ray Everham, Michael Waltrip, Willie T. Riggs has been known to jump in and run some races with
Wow.
us. Yeah, so I mean that's just a smidgen of.
And this is going to be here.
So this is going to be here. Yeah. Now I can't guarantee all those people are going to be here. I can tell you I know Joe's going to be here because
Are you running?
I'm running.
Okay, so you're going to be working here and running this at the same time.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. So I'm excited.
You forgot another famous name.
Who's that? Oh yeah, Brian Pritchard's going to be here too. You can't forget Dr. Drain. Dr. Drain is going to be here.
And of course, we're going to see the Spice.
So yeah, Brett will have Brett Moyer from the race place will have a historic car, a very historic car, a Spice car here. And you'll see cars that are valued at $15 million down to $10,000. So SVRA, Trans Am, and TA2 is going to be a big event here this year. Naturally, we have the SCCA runoffs, and we're going to have the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix here, as we've had in years past.
The Vintage Grand Prix that's always been a big draw here.
Big draw here.
It's for charity. It's for charity.
Charity event. This year, I think they're featuring the Ford GT40.
Okay.
But then again, again, like we talked, now my business life has brought me here.
Right.
And it's an opportunity. It's interesting. Just in the last 4 weeks that I've been here, I've gone and raced at Sebring, and I looked at it when I got there different than when I was there in December.
I'm sure you did.
And watching the Sebring race this past weekend, Formula One and NASCAR, now it's more of like what I used to do when I played football. I'm watching what that defensive end's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching what that offensive lineman do.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm watching what track personnel are doing, and I'm watching how they take care of the track, and I'm watching how people enter the facility. So these are all things that I'm now learning because I've never worked at a racetrack or a sports complex like this.
Yeah, well, you've been a customer.
I've been a customer.
Yeah.
Now I'm on the opposite side of customer, and now it's a lot of customer service. It's presenting the best facility to keep people coming back, and the team here, from ownership to the staff here, they have done a remarkable job pre me coming here. Um, they make this place what it is, and it's a special place. And I think as we grow, I've committed to Kathy and Jim X amount of time, a 10-year stint if they have me that long. And one of Kathy's goals is to make this a bucket list track that people talk about and want to be at. And I think the first step right now, Moto America has been here before, so the race has been on TV. Unfortunately, Moto America isn't coming back this year because they decided to run at Mid Ohio. So that left the door open for some other interesting stuff, and people can go on the website and see what all from starting 2 weeks from now, pretty much every day and every night is filled with something here going on.
And this isn't the final product. They keep on making this product better.
So yeah, this is.
He's not done. They're not done spending dollars.
No, Kathy and Jim are not done growing this facility. And like I said, she wants it. They would like it to be a bucket list facility. I think I have enough knowledge to help them do that, but I also think the team is in place. The employees that they have here make it what it is and what it's going to be in the future. And their vision is, like I said, a bucket list place where, hey, if we're at Road America going, hey, you go to pit race next week or 2 weeks from now, because it is the place to be. So I think our litmus test right now is going to be Trans Am and SVRA to take that next little step.
So to end this, if we get people to come, what is your truck? What number are you? What does people know that it's you in the truck? What is this?
So it's interesting. You'll know the people that are in their vehicles. For instance, Bill Elliott will run the number 9 car. Joe will run the number 8, either car or truck. Another good friend of mine who has raced in the truck series, who owns a track in Dallas, Sam LeCompte is a partner in Eagles Canyon. He's raced and tried to qualify in the truck series. So there'll be a myriad of trucks, NASCAR trucks, NASCAR cars, newer Gen 6s down to Gen 4s. I mean, you're going to see some of the older stuff show up here, hopefully, that you normally see at other tracks. I mean, the big one coming up right now is the Midi. And just in our class 10, we're going to have 43 NASCARs or trucks.
You're going to the Midi?
Going to the Midi. My truck
the
now.
Midi is at Road Atlanta.
Road Atlanta.
Yep.
My truck now is wrapped in, everybody likes to call it the livery. It's the paint scheme of John Hunter's truck that he ran at Mid Ohio and for part of the season in 2018 and 19, I believe.
Okay.
It is the Mobile One, number 4, and it's a pretty good looking truck, I'd like to think. So
I think it's a great looking truck.
Yeah, had a little incident at Sebring 2 weekends ago. It's getting a little body work redone on the driver's side, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to actually a lot of local, I'd say within 100 miles, people that own NASCARs that are going to be here to race some interesting NASCARs, and actually some historic cars. I mean, some cars that have won horse races.
So some of these cars aren't just painted as the old cars. They are some of the actual cars.
These are the actual. I mean, you look at the chassis numbers. Those chassis numbers coincide with NASCAR and specific dates they've raced or won.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you doing this for me.
Yeah, this was. I had a little anxiety. Yeah. I like to be prepared and have an idea.
Scott was unhappy that I didn't provide questions for him ahead of time.
Yeah.
This was just sort of on the fly. I look forward to racing with you this year.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for another great season, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a great season here.
Yeah. And speaking of NASCARs, Greg, you have a NASCAR.
I do.
He's afraid to run it. He's afraid.
I heard there's some demand for it, and I'm hoping, Joe, if you're out there, come and pick my car up. It's the blue Visine car. So, well, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.